Well, good afternoon. It has certainly been quite the day. I am so thankful for everyone who came today, our speakers, our educators, all of our panelists, our attendees, parents, and especially our young leaders who made today possible. I also really want to thank all of our state agencies who participated, the Office of Mental Health, the Office of Children and Family Services, and even the state police, yes? It is safe to say, sort of as we begin to the close of today, that we live in incredibly complex times. And the governor's vision of the new New York dream with thriving families calls on us to grapple with these complexities and develop supports for young people. The COVID pandemic, not so long ago, technically ended in May, exposed what we have always known. Young people, like adults, also struggle with mental health. Long-term isolation was bad for everyone. Back in the day, those struggles might have been in the form of acting out, and you'd end up in the principal's office. Today, we need to do better. And technology is constantly changing our daily lives and interactions with others. Is ChatGPT a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe I used ChatGPT to write my remarks. I did not, but we are seeing that it is coming up in many different forms. Youth mental health in our current complex world is especially nuanced, and how rapidly changing technology overlays with that is something that has not been talked about enough, and I am so happy that today we are having this conversation. Or to put it a different way, particularly for those of us who are a certain age, it is hard to imagine what it is like to live as a young person completely connected, unable to make mistakes, and trying to figure out who they are. Most of us of this age, we made lots of mistakes in our youth. They just weren't permanently on the internet or shared widely beyond an immediate friend group. That is why Governor Hochul has been adamant that her administration tackle this problem and bring together literally every expert we can find and stakeholder who we need to listen to so we can start pulling this all together. Earlier this year, many of you know the governor kicked off the series of youth listening sessions all around the state, where we heard from over 200 young people about their takes on the pros and cons of social media, their desire to be a part of crafting the policy solutions, and how they really seek advice from trusted peers. Not always trusted adults, but at least trusted peers. These invaluable insights were published in a report and made available so that our researchers and experts can build on that work. The governor also made sure to put money where our mouth is. In the state budget, we made a $1 billion investment in mental health care. We are funding mental health counselors in schools, and we are making insurance companies expand their mental health coverage. Yeah, it's weedy, and sometimes policy is very weedy, but those sort of actions actually make it so that a kid who's on private insurance actually can get what they need. And this summit focuses on what we must deal with about the role of technology and mental health. And the solution is we cannot ignore technology. And as I like to say, the kids are also probably smarter than we are. My son is old now. But back in the day, I was like, oh, the computer, the internet, I need to protect him. I will put, I think it was called bumper car on the computer so that he can't get to certain sites. And then he had a research report in elementary school where I knew that some of the keywords that I had blocked, he would need in order to get to the research. And I go up to do it, and he's like, oh no, I already know how to get around that. So the solutions have to be about giving young people the tools to manage the online environment. And technology can also provide some of that support. It can create opportunities to spur young people to develop communities of support. And we have learned from the listening sessions, youth prefer advice from trusted peers over adults. How can we create safe spaces online to share advice that is actually accurate? And lastly, the adults need to learn too. How do we create opportunities for young people to talk to us about what they need? How do we create opportunities to be knowledgeable about what they might be experiencing, saying, oh, have you thought about the fact that that may or may not be true? Or how are you using that information? Where are you getting that information? How are you smart about how you are taking it in and critical of it? And is there language we, friends, grandparents, and parents can be using to help? At this point, we have lots of questions, but I am proud that under Governor's leadership, New York is working on finding the answers, and they'll be complicated, and there won't be a headline or a slogan. Maybe there will be, but I don't anticipate it. And with that, I want to bring on our youth speaker, Kalani Davis-Gray, who is a youth peer advocate, to speak about her experiences with mental health and social media, because these are the critical voices that will help us shape the policy that will actually give youth the support they need to overcome isolation, to lead healthy lives going forward, and to not face what I would say is the challenges of this technology alone. So thank you so much for having been here. I am thrilled to be a part of it. I am thrilled of all the work that you are doing and all the work that the agencies are doing, and that we will continue to do under this governor's leadership. And with that, I give you Kalani.
Please welcome to the stage, Kalani Davis-Gray.
Thank you, thank you. How are we feeling today? Have we heard some good things going around from the panels? No, I'm sorry, did we hear some good things from the panels today? Oh, okay, just checking. So before I get into what I'm talking about, I just would like to introduce myself. My name is Kalani Davis-Gray. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a youth peer advocate. Shout out Brooklyn. And I'm a youth peer advocate, YPA. That's just a real fancy way of saying that I work with youth ages 0 through 24 who are experiencing developmental, social, emotional, behavioral, or substance abuse challenges. For those of you who don't know, in order to be a YPA, you would have had to have lived experience through a child serving system. And this could be anything from ACS, DCFS, foster care, any type of anything in that realm. That means that we have our personal attestment and own firsthand knowledge of what's going on. I'm here to talk today about what we heard and kind of connected to current day youth. Is that all right? All right. I want to talk about social media, what's working and what's not working. Just like we've been hearing today, there's good, but there's always some bad. Let's dig in. A positive of social media I see is the exposure of mental health and certain mental health diagnoses. Youth are asking for more education on what's going on. Our youth are asking for more education on what's going on. That's big on any platform for a young adult. Teenagers are saying they are hearing terms such as depression and anxiety on platforms like TikTok. In the same breath, a con would be self-diagnosing. Our youth are overwhelmed with all the new information they're receiving. They might be internalizing, I have this, and I have that too, and that back there, put that in my shopping cart. But that's not necessarily how these things work. It doesn't give them the tools to know who to ask for help, what professional could help them, or what to do. And above all, it puts more stress on them. Honestly, I don't have that many positive social media stories. For me, I internalized a lot of the media when I was younger, just 12. And I know that's the same for a lot of our youth, inner cities and out today. Now bear with me. As a 12-year-old, I had this certain image in my mind of myself that nobody could shake. People were dancing, Disney was all in, Shake It Up was out there, shaking hips like Shakira, and that's what I was into. But I never felt comfortable being myself around that setting. What happened to me was very intensive cyberbullying. The sense of wanting to live or appropriate something that wasn't for me. I internalized a lot of that. When you ask for support, sometimes they're just like, oh, turn it off, or why would you wear that? Get off the phone. But that's not necessarily what I wanted to hear. And to be honest, at 12, I don't know what I wanted to hear. But I know I needed someone on my level to reason with. And when I didn't have it, it was kind of a long way to dig myself out of that. That was 2012. This is 2023. Yes, certain things have changed in the educational aspect, but for the emotional and mental health portion, we are not doing enough for our youth. We need to meet them. What do young people need? We need adults to meet us where we are. Youth are encompassed by two things primarily about their day. That's being in school and being on that phone, as my grandmother would say. We need to teach healthy habits in school while they're in school. We need workshops in schools that they can learn corrective behaviors, better social media etiquette, role-playing skills. We need to make sure that we involve our youth in pertinent regulations and engagements such as today. They need to be firsthand at what's going on. The governor is giving $30 million to expand school-based mental health services. $30 million. We have the opportunity and the platform and means to make a difference. We need to get on it. I want to thank you all for listening, but listening isn't enough. We need to get up for our youth. We need to meet them where they are and get in the schools. We need to get into the communities. We need to show them that we are here and there's no stagnant behavior in any year and any generation. We need to let them know we're here online and in person. Our youth expect movement, so let's be the movement that they need. Thank you.
Since before the pandemic, young people have been increasingly struggling with mental health.
And since the pandemic, it's gotten worse.
But if we all come together, we can begin to change things.
Bringing together experts.
And of course, young people to find solutions that actually help us.
Advice I would give to people struggling with mental health would probably be, even though I'm not in your shoes, there's always someone you can talk to. Even if you don't feel like you want to go out to talk to them, it's better than keeping it inside.
I would tell them that they are not alone. They are not the only ones struggling, to know that they have ways to get help, and it does not make them weak to ask for it.
If you feel sad, feel sad. If you feel happy. But at the end, it's you, so don't let nobody tell you how you can feel.
I know that when I was struggling, my parents always let me know that they were proud of me. And that would be something that I would want to pass on to others that are struggling. I see you and I hear you. Your condition does not equal your conclusion.
So at the end of the day, no matter what, look yourself in the mirror. No matter if you had your highest victory that day or your most humiliating and crushing defeat, and say, I'm proud of you, you have not given up, and you are strong, and no matter what obstacles you may encounter, you can keep going.
Putting the experiences of young people at the center of this conversation
Is essential to finding solutions.